Ba 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 boo boo boo. Hello. Just want to give you a little bit of a review, spoiler review of the Rise of Skywalker. Oh man, I hesitated. I almost forgot what it was called. I'm Oatmeal, and I just want to tell you a little bit about what I was thinking about while I was watching the movie. It only took me about 7 hours to watch it. This review is gonna have some spoilers, of course, and I just wanted to just tell you a few things about it, and I want to tell you that obviously you can like the movie and you can hate the movie, and it depends on how you look at it, obviously. But like, even if you like the movie, it doesn't mean that the movie's good, because like, people can like things that are not good. So from a subjective point of view, it's like it doesn't really matter. Like, I mean, it kind of matters in a way, but it depends on how you look at it. I mean, it's a long story, but ultimately, it's like, in isolation, the movie can be really good. I don't want to. I just wanted to just say a few things about the movie. I could probably talk forever about it, maybe a few hours about it, and there's a lot of other people making videos about it, and it's really interesting. And if you don't know, I'm Oatmeal because you are what you eat, and I look like oatmeal. I eat a lot of oatmeal, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about it. Since I was watching it yesterday, and I've been a Star Wars fan for a very long time, since about '97 when the special editions came out. I was in Oregon, and I probably heard of Star Wars and seen bits and pieces of it before, but not really. I was about 12, and so I saw it, and then I got really excited about the Phantom Menace, and I like the prequels mostly because I was focused on just the action, special effects, mostly just the sword fighting. I mean, the lightsaber duels, and I really like Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is probably the best character in a way, because he's like good the whole time, and he's not whiny and girly like Anakin. And I can understand his character, his development, and everything. And I really like to debate Star Wars, and I have been doing that for a very long time. And so I can see different perspectives, different points of views, which they talk about in the movies, from a certain point of view kind of thing, that, the Jedi might be good, or the Sith might be good, or this or that could be good or bad, depending on how you look at it, kind of thing. And so I can see all these different things, and in isolation, you could argue that the movie's pretty cool, pretty good, and everything, and that's a pretty subjective way of looking at things, which is something that we do as humans. Well, we're gonna be a little subjective and everything, and that doesn't mean that it's gonna be a good movie if there's a lot of plot holes, and if it doesn't align with the rest of the series, the rest of the trilogy of trilogies of the Skywalker saga. And if it doesn't, if it's not compatible with the rules of the universe of whatever the genre the movie is or whatever, then you might have some problems. Unless if it's like a comedy movie or something. It really depends on what kind of story you want to tell, and it really depends on how you want to tell it. It's very simple like that, and so, basically it's a question of, is it compatible with the rest of the Star Wars? And a lot of people will say no, and for the most part, it's not. And one of the biggest problem is Disney said, like, they would say, like, let the past die. And you see that in The Last Jedi. Let the past die, and then they come back with Palpatine. And hypothetically, that's a cool idea. You might have to edit Return of the Jedi a little bit in order to make it work, and kind of make the Death Star look like it kind of didn't totally blow up. Because, it's possible that it didn't really blow up totally, or there was a force field around parts of it, because that's how powerful the Emperor was. And according to a book that's coming out in March 2020, he jumped into a wormhole, or was pulled out, a portal or something, and he somehow got into this other planet far away. and then all the Sith went into his body and resurrected him, and then he has to have life support, and he became basically like Darth Vader, which is, you know, karma, you know what I'm saying? And that's totally fine, except for, you know, it's really hard to uh, understand what was taking him so long to come back. And that's what I would love to know. I'm totally fine with the Emperor not dying. That does not undo what Vader did in Episode 6. Some people say it does, but it doesn't. It doesn't really. I mean, you can say it does, but I don't think the prophecy was like, well, this is going to bring balance to the Force. Vader's going to save the day, and there will never be any kind of big baddie coming out to make trouble in the neighborhood kind of thing, like the Emperor's never going to come back kind of thing. I don't think the prophecy was that specific. So it just said that he would do something, but it never said once and for all that this is his final, so I'm okay with it. The biggest problem is mostly the execution of the story. And people talk about the execution of the prequel trilogy, and I understand that. I'm a guy that's like, I'm really focused on fantasy and everything, so I like the story. I like ideas that are hypothetical and stuff, and so when I watch a movie, I can enjoy it because I look at it and I think about it, and then I have fun with it inside my brain, and so I'm okay with that. But for the general audience, it could be tough, and it could also be, you know, okay with them because they may not think about whether or not it makes sense or not. They just care about how it feels. And so the movie came out as a part cultic movie. How do I say? Fan cult fan. What do they call that? Kind of like epic for the fans, for the specific fans that love the movies. It's kind of like that. It has Inside Baseball. It has a bunch of stuff that you may not know if you're just a casual movie goer, but at the same time, it kind of tries to be general because, you know, Disney's behind it and they're trying to make a lot of people like it and everything make a lot of money, but then they try to go against the lore of Star Wars, and that's pretty sad. And here I am 7 minutes into the video, and I was supposed to open it up with my question, and this is the one thing that I really want to know. Probably the biggest thing I want to know is whether or not Palpatine's dead, because he told Rey to kill him, and she did. So did he hop into her body, or did she somehow find a way to destroy his spirit? And if she did, they probably should have shown that. There's a lot of things you can talk about with this movie, for example, and you can say that they did this wrong or they did that wrong, and these are really good fair points. The biggest thing that we should talk about is that this what I just said about Palpatine and whether or not he really died, because they don't really show, except for, you know, they what they do show is that, you know, it just blows up. Everything blows up. You know, I mean, just there's a big explosion, but, you know, that didn't kill him the last time there was a big explosion in Return of the Jedi. So what is going to happen next? You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about this from the top of my head, and that's the biggest thing I want to know. After Rey saves the day, Rey doesn't save who's that guy? Kylo, Ben Ren the Ben. And I wonder why didn't she save him? I guess she didn't love him enough, or maybe it's some kind of law in the Force that, you know, if you give up your life for the other person, you have to die, and the other person can't bring you back. But I don't think Rey would know that. So even if it was possible, or I mean like impossible, I don't think it mattered. Like, I would like to show that. Like, I would want to see Rey at least try to bring him back and fail. And maybe a Force ghost coming and saying, sorry, you can't do this. You can't bring him back, at least. You don't have to bring him back. But at least have her try. She doesn't even try. And then he just disappears. Which I don't know if he really learned how to do that. And I would say probably he didn't. Therefore, he shouldn't be able to disappear like Kenobi and Yoda did. And Vader did too. Which is probably something that probably shouldn't happen. You know, like, he probably shouldn't have disappeared. If he did disappear. So, I just want to say, Rey says that she's a Skywalker. Not James Bond, but Rey Skywalker. And she should have said Palpatine. Now, it's almost like Luke and Leia got married in the afterlife, and they're part of the Mormon Mormon land. And did I say, am I stuttering here? And it's like they were giving her permission, unless if that was Palpatine force projecting from beyond the grave, and that's probably not true. But maybe earlier he was. Somebody was saying that Palpatine was pretending to be Luke as a Force ghost, and that's how he was able to grab the lightsaber out of the fire. And that's interesting. There's all these, plot holes and stuff, and I really want to, shout it from the rooftop that in isolation, it could be a good movie. That doesn't mean that it is a good movie in isolation, but more so than it would be as a ninth film of the Skywalker saga. And so the casual moviegoer may not get that because they haven't taken enough time to understand the rules of that universe and how it works. A lot of people just want to have fantasy be a part of everything. And even though this is a fantasy, it has rules within the fantasy to make it believable within their universe. and that's what makes a good story a good story. And so it really comes down to how you want to tell a story, what kind of story you want to tell, and everything. And if you're telling a story that's totally isolated from other stories, you can do probably whatever you want, and then people may not like it, but at least it's by itself. But you see, it's like, it's not alone. It's not in isolation. And that's what some of the people need to get in. I was talking about it, while I was watching the movie last night, and some people blocked me, and then I got locked out of my Twitter account. And that happens to some people. People have trouble, and some of us have been having troubles like this in the 2010s. We get blocked, and we get terminated and deleted and put in Facebook jail. And all sorts of things have been happening the past 10 years in the 2010s. And that it's pretty tough if you know what I'm talking about. And Star Wars is a good story. And all the movies, all the shows, you put them together, it's really, really interesting, and I love it. And I can watch Rise of Skywalker. I can enjoy it as a movie, and because I love Star Wars so much, I'm gonna like it. And so people are gonna like it. They're gonna like it to an extent. Some people are gonna like it a lot. Some people are just gonna kind of like it a little bit. And we're talking about it because it's like we're invested in the story. We love it so much. And it's like being in love with somebody. It's like being in love with somebody that abuses you. It's kind of like Disney is abusing us. We're in a relationship with Star Wars. We were in a relationship with George Lucas, but then I guess he kind of walked away. I don't exactly know what happened there. I mean, we know what people say. you know, that he sold it to Disney and everything. I don't know if that's the whole story or if there's stuff that we don't know about. But I do know that we are now in a relationship, not with George Lucas, but with Disney, and they're being abusive, and they were calling a lot of fans racist and sexist and all these kinds of things. And that's the problem. And they're like, you know, let the past die, like I said. A lot of people are talking about it, and I just want to make this video for the record, and I have been writing about it for a while, and last night I was putting up the notes, and I posted it on Steemit on my blog, and I could go through all the notes and what people said and the problems and stuff, but for now, my plan is to end the video right now. I just wanted to say a few things from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. No, just from the top of my head, and just wanted to get it off my body, get it off my chest. Ba-bum bum. I think that I really do like to say more. I really want to say. Wow, did the boxes follow me? The boxes flew right onto me. See, that was totally unexpected. You can see there's nobody behind me, but that was totally unexpected. Nice to be like, oh, but I'm not. But I'm gonna try to maybe try to make more videos and stuff, but talk about some of these things, and I'm gonna try to ask more people what they thought about some of these things, especially with what happened to Palpatine. Is he really dead this time? You know, we really gotta show his spirit essence getting destroyed and not just blowing up, because his spirit could have gone away, flew away. You know, you could say, well, that's not the way that he wanted it. He wanted Rey to sacrifice him in a certain kind of specific way, and if it's not done that way, then he's totally gone. He can't, you know, get out another way, because the rules of the Force says you have to do it like this, and if you do it a little bit different and kill him a different way, he can't get out. He's stuck, and he dies. His spirit too. And I say, I don't think so. I don't think it works that way. I don't know how it works. I mean, because it's like, what can a Force Ghost do? Can a Force Ghost do this? Or do that? Like, can it grab lightsabers? Can it interfere? Obi-Wan Kenobi, he said to Luke, I can't interfere, you know. If you go and confront Palpatine in Return of the Jedi. Now, that either means that he can't, or it means that he should not, because it's his battle, and he has to do this to become a Jedi Master. Officially, he has to do this by himself. I would say, yeah, it probably doesn't mean that. I don't think Obi-Wan Kenobi would be like, yeah, I'm not gonna help save the universe because I want to make sure that you become a master. I think that if he really could interfere and help somehow kill the Emperor, he would have. So he probably wasn't trying to help train Luke Skywalker. And, oh man, it's like, can you force teleport stuff? You know, can you grab a necklace from Rey and then just take it over? If you could do that, then can you also just grab yourself and pull yourself over to another place? Do you have to be on one side in order to pull it over to the other place? Can you do a spin around where you grab something, but then you do like a spin so that you take the place of the other person or the other thing, and then you go where they go, and then they go where you go, and then that's a good way to teleport through space. It's like, okay, you know, I just want to say just one more thing before I stop. I just want to say back to the Emperor, if the Emperor did go through a wormhole, I wonder why he didn't do that before, or I mean, I guess it's okay if he went into a wormhole, but you know, I mean, it took him like, I guess because he did that, he died either because it just took so much force power, like it took on Luke when he did his little thing in The Last Jedi, or I guess he didn't do it soon enough, and he got hit by the blast of whatever happened when he fell in the hole, or when the Death Star was blowing up, and so he kind of got hit by that, or by his own lightning, was came onto Vader and then back onto him. Maybe he was dying because of that. Maybe a combination of all those things. But and so he dies, and all the dead Sith are on this planet somehow, and they go into him. But how did he teleport to that planet if he didn't know where the planet was? Unless if he did know where the planet was. If he knew where the planet was, then he probably went there before. But if he did, does that mean that the Sith were already inside of him? Because if he went there before, they probably would have went into him to take over his body, because that's what they want to do. Because if he can try to go into Rey, then why can't they go into him? And then he would have been very powerful, like as powerful as he was in Rise of Skywalker. He would have been, and more, in Return of the Jedi. And he was younger, so he would have been that powerful, and he would have been able to shoot out lightning out of the Death Star and attack a bunch of stuff. I can go on. I think I'm a little bit on fire. I can go on and talk about the Space Horse season. They go on a planet and they have a celebration every 42 years at the beginning. Oh wow, we got a celebration every 42 years. What happened 42 years ago? 1977, I believe. And so that's when the Star Wars started. So it just so happens to be on the anniversary of Star Wars. And it's kind of silly, but that's what they did. Every 42 years. Why 42 years? I'm on fire. I like to talk about this. If you like what you see, let me know. I'm Oatmeal. Until next time, bye-bye.